Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our magical journey through the world of Harry Potter. Today, we're covering one of the most iconic moments, the journey to Hogwarts. The last days at Privet Drive were a strange mix of anticipation and secrecy. Harry kept all his new school supplies tucked away in his cupboard under the stairs. Every night, he'd pull out his letter from Hogwarts and hold his wand, just to reassure himself that this incredible new chapter was real. The Dursleys, of course, pretended none of it was happening. Uncle Vernon and Aunt Petunia refused to speak a word about it, and Dudley, still terrified of Hagrid, gave Harry a wide berth. Finally, the big day arrived, September 1st. Harry had to get to King's Cross Station in London to catch his train. He looked at the ticket Hagrid had given him for what felt like the 100th time. It read, Platform 9 3/4, King's Cross Station, 11 a.m. He muttered to himself, there's no such thing as platform 9 3/4. Uncle Vernon, ever the skeptic, grumbled, absolute nonsense. But we'll drop you off. Can't have you getting lost and embarrassing us. The drive to the station was filled with Dudley's mocking laughter. At King's Cross, the station was a chaotic whirlwind of people and trains. Harry, pushing his heavy trunk and his beautiful snowy owl, Hedwig, searched desperately for any sign of platform 9 3/4. But all he could see were platforms 9 and 10. Feeling a knot of panic tighten his stomach, he asked a nearby guard, excuse me, how do I get to platform 9 3/4? The guard just gave him a funny look and said, never heard of it, son. Just as despair started to set in, with the Dursleys long gone, he heard a cheerful voice cut through the noise. Packed with Muggles today, isn't it? He turned to see a family, all with flaming red hair, pushing trolleys just like his, piled high with trunks and owls. Now, what's the platform number again? The plump, kind-faced mother asked. 9 3/4, one of her sons shouted. Harry's ears perked up. He discreetly followed them and watched in amazement as one of the older boys ran straight at the solid brick barrier between platforms 9 and 10, and simply vanished. Harry's jaw dropped. The woman noticed his stunned expression and smiled warmly. First time at Hogwarts, dear? Harry could only nod. All right then, she said kindly. Best do it at a bit of a run if you're nervous. Taking a deep breath, his heart pounding against his ribs, Harry aimed his trolley at the wall and started to run. He braced for impact, but instead of crashing, he passed straight through the barrier and emerged onto a secret platform. A magnificent bright red steam engine was waiting, puffing clouds of white smoke. A sign overhead confirmed it. Hogwarts Express, 11 a.m. The platform was alive with witches and wizards saying their goodbyes. Overwhelmed with excitement, Harry saw the red-haired family again. He heard the mother, Mrs. Weasley, calling to her sons, Fred, George, Percy, and Ron. Harry managed to find an empty compartment on the train. A few minutes later, the youngest Weasley boy, Ron, poked his head in. Mind if I sit here? Everywhere else is full, he asked shyly. Sure, Harry replied. I'm Harry Potter. Ron's eyes went wide. What? Your the asterisk Harry Potter? With the scar and everything? Harry, a little embarrassed, nodded. Ron just grinned. Wow. Wait till my brothers hear about this. As the English countryside blurred past the window, the two boys talked for hours. Ron shared stories about his big wizarding family and his hand-me-down robes. Then, a witch pushing a trolley laden with sweets appeared. Anything off the trolley, dears? She asked. Harry, thinking of his newfound fortune at Gringotts, beamed and said, We'll take the lot. They feasted on everything from chocolate frogs to birdie, bought every flavor beans. Harry was fascinated by the collectible wizard card of Dumbledore inside his chocolate frog, especially when the headmaster's image vanished. Ron just laughed. That's normal. Can't expect him to stay there all day, can you? Their laughter was interrupted when the compartment door slid open. A girl with bushy brown hair and a rather bossy air about her stood there. Has anyone seen a toad? A boy named Neville's lost one, she said briskly. I've tried a few spells, but they've not worked yet, she added proudly. I'm Hermione Granger, by the way. When Harry introduced himself, her eyes lit up with recognition. "You're Harry Potter? I've read all about you." "You'd better put on your robe soon, we'll be there any minute." And with that, she was gone. Ron groaned. She's got to be the cleverest girl in the year, she knows it. As evening fell, the train finally slowed to a stop. They had arrived at Hogsmeade Station. Stepping out into the cool night air, Harry's heart leaped when he heard a familiar, booming voice. First years this way. It was Hagrid. They followed him down a dark, narrow path to the edge of a vast, black lake. And there, across the water, stood a magnificent castle, its towers sparkling with 1,000 lights. "No more than 4 to a boat," Hagrid called out. Harry climbed into a small boat with Ron, Hermione, and the boy who'd lost his toad, Neville. As the little fleet of boats glided silently across the glassy water, the full view of Hogwarts Castle took Harry's breath away. He whispered to Ron, "This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." And his magical new life was just beginning. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this chapter, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure at Hogwarts. See you next time.